Alright, so today we're going to continue our conversation on writing equations with lines, but now we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines. So, the slope of two parallel lines are always going to be the same. So, for example, the slope of one line is 3, the parallel line would also be 3. Now, your two perpendicular lines will have negative reciprocal slopes, meaning if I were to multiply them together, they'll get a -1 for our answer. So, for those, if I have, like, for example, a slope that is 2/3, the perpendicular slope is the negative reciprocal, so I flip the number, and if it was positive, it becomes negative. If my slope was -4/7, for example, I would flip it, 7/4. Since it was negative, it now becomes positive. So, these are my three slopes. I want to write the slopes that are parallel and perpendicular to this given line. So, parallel would be 5 for the first one, and perpendicular would be -1/5. For this line, parallel would be a -2/3. Perpendicular, we flip it, 3/2, change from negative to positive. For this line, parallel is 4/7. And then this one, again, I flip it, so it's 7/4, and I make it negative. And for this one, parallel is 0. Well, perpendicular would be 1/0, or something over 0, which means it's undefined. So the same logic, if I gave you a slope that's undefined, its parallel would also be undefined, but its perpendicular line, the slope would be 0. Okay, so let's use this now to write an equation of a line that's parallel to this given line. So, I need to identify my slope of the line, which is 2, meaning my parallel line is also 2. And now I take my slope and the point, and I'm going to plug it back into my point-slope form. So then solve the equation for y. So it's y minus 4 equals 2 times x plus 6. Minus and negative becomes plus, that's why it's plus there. Since this is a whole number, we're just going to distribute it. So y minus 4 equals 2x plus 12. We add 4 to both sides. Y equals 2x plus 16. So there's the equation of my line that is parallel to this given line and goes through this given point right here. That's the process. The exact same thing we did last time. The difference now is we need to find what the slope of my parallel line is, or my perpendicular line. So let's do this one together as well. So my slope of this line is a -7/4, which means my parallel slope is also a -7/4. So I write my equation, y plus 3 minus a negative equals -7/4 times x minus 8. So the -7/4 goes into 8 nicely, so I can distribute. Y plus 3 equals a -7/4 x plus -7 times -8 is a +56. Divided by 4 is a +14. I subtract 3 from both sides. Y equals -7/4 x plus 11. And there's my parallel line. So I want you to use this concept to write this one on your own. Remember the different rules, and since we've got a fraction, if it doesn't distribute it nicely, remember how we can rewrite it into standard form. So I want you to do that, and then I'll give you the answer for this particular problem. Alright, so the equation you should be getting in standard form, since the fraction did not go in nicely, is 3x plus 2y equals 1. And again, quick review of that, so it's y minus 2 equals -3/2 of x plus 1. We recognize that 3x is not going to the 1 nicely, so I multiply everything by 2. 2y minus 4 equals a -3 times x plus 1. And now I can distribute my -3 in nicely. 2y minus 4 equals -3x minus 3. I add 3x to both sides. 3x plus 2y minus 4 equals -3. I add 4 to both sides. 3x plus 2y equals 1, and that's how I got that answer. So don't forget to do that whenever you have a fraction does not go into it nicely. Now for these problems, I'm looking to write the equation line that's perpendicular to a given line through the given points. So again, I still begin the same way. I need to identify my slope, -3. But now my perpendicular slope is going to be the negative reciprocal of this number. so it's 1/3. Positive because I went from negative to positive, and I flip it, that's why it's 1/3. So I plug into my equation, y minus 5 equals 1/3 of x plus 6. Minus negative, that's why it's plus. This is a fraction, but it goes into 6 nicely, so I can distribute. Y minus 5 equals 1/3 of x plus 2. Now I just have to add 5 to both sides. Y equals 1/3 x plus 7. There's the equation of my line that is perpendicular to the given line through the given point. So this is the exact same concept we just did with parallel. The only difference is we do a negative reciprocal for my slope. Okay, so our slope for this line is a negative 2/3. My perpendicular slope would then have to be a positive 3/2. So use that slope with that point to write the equation of your line. So again, pause the video while you work that out, and then I will show you my answer. Alright, you should be getting for your answer y equals 3/2 of x minus 7. That's your line that is perpendicular to the given line through this given point. One more. So we have y equals 4/5 of x minus 6. The point is 3, negative 7. So again, on your own, go ahead and work out what your slope is going to be for this problem, and then plug it in with the appropriate point to get the equation you want. So go ahead and pause the video while you work that out. Okay, and this should be your final answer. 5x plus 4y equals negative 13 in standard form because our slope did not go into the whole number 3 nicely. That's why we multiply everything by 4 to clear out the fraction, and then we solved our equation. So that's what I'm looking for if I ask you to write me the equation of a line that is parallel or perpendicular to a given line through a given point. Next time we're going to start talking about scatter plots, lines of fits, those kind of things. We'll be using our calculators for that, so make sure you have your scientific or graphing calculator ready to go. So I'll see you next time.